Thank you. Now, I would like to introduce you to the speakers of today's seminar, Mr. Sriram and Mr. Vinodh. Mr. Sriram is the co-founder and creative director at Springboard Digital, who has also worked as a design engineer at Flowserve Corporation. Mr. Vinodh Parameswaran is also the co-founder and growth marketer and brand strategist at Springboard Digital. He has also been an application engineer for MAK Controls and Systems Private Limited and also a sales engineer for Bozard Asia. Now, I would like to welcome Mrs. S. Jansi Rani, Assistant Professor, Artificial Intelligence and Data Science Department, to address the gathering.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. I welcome you to this event on behalf of the administration, our beloved principal sir, vice principal sir, and the heads of various departments and students. The Indian government hopes to reach an economy of 5 trillion US dollars by the year of 2024. And the Indian government strongly believes that qualitative ways of growth in an education system towards innovation and entrepreneurship have the high impact factor to achieve this objective in the year 2024. So to address this, our government provides a wide variety of plans and initiatives aimed at encouraging students' entrepreneurship. So our JIT has been working towards this objective to create a strong, vibrant, and innovative ecosystem within the institution by 2024. As a part of this, we organized this seminar on the topic of how to plan a startup and what are the legal and ethical steps we need to take before starting a business, and also how does it benefit the society. So we have our Chief Guest Sriram sir and Vinodh Padmanabhan sir to offer more insights about this topic. So I ask all the students to take advantage of this chance to learn more about startups and help make this event a success. Now I call upon Chief Guest to take over the session. Thank you, sir.
So good afternoon, JIT. என்னப்பா இவ்வளவுதான் சவுண்டா? So first of all, weekend. So which language are you comfortable with? Tamil or English? So how many want English? So we'll go with English. Is that fine? All right. So first of all, this is the weekend. So post lunch, you've all gathered here, and I think you are in the path of success, halfway through. So can we have a cheer round of claps for all of us? Because just coming here, wanted to listen about entrepreneurship during a weekend is actually a bigger task, and you've all done that. Congratulations. And we'll play a small video here to show what we do inside Springboard. So it's going to be a small walkthrough of our portfolios on what we have done inside Springboard for the past 7 years. So after watching the video, you'll get a better grip of what we do inside Springboard. And then we can start the session. We'll go. Thank you. Thank you. So what did you all understand? Ad agency. What else? Branding. Very nice. What else? Interface design. Very nice. UI UX. So that is what we do inside Springboard. Like we are a branding agency, we are an UI UX design agency, and we are a digital marketing agency. And we work exclusively with mass consumer brands. So that is what we do inside Springboard here. So it's going to be a small presentation. Before I get into the presentation, you all know sitting here after lunch is a little difficult task. So I'll ask you to do one thing. So it's a small activity. So I'll say 3, 2, 1. You just have to clap only once. There shouldn't be multiple claps. You should only clap once. So I'll say 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. I said only one clap. So we'll go again, like 3, 2, 1. Very nice. So we have done close to 350 projects in Springboard, and we have an in-house team of like 30 employees. And we have offices both in India and USA. So we have an operations offices in India, and we have our sales office in USA. So where it all started. So ungla madri da, we were all sitting like this, where we don't want to sucked into the job அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி ஒரு விஷயம் இல்லாம எப்படி ஆரம்பிச்சோங்கிற ஒரு குட்டி கதை தான். So it all started with me and Sriram and the other third partner who were all mechanical engineers. So we did our engineering here in Park College, and so from being a mechanical engineer, we transformed into brand engineers. So I'll take you through few successful case studies of what we have done inside Springboard. So one is we have worked with this group called Kalishwari. So hope you have seen all their products, like gold winner or product the LDR. So we worked on their digital strategy. So it's a 1,000 crore brand, and I think this is one of the major accounts that we had that we deal with. So then we have Suguna Group. So Suguna, as you know, they are the Asia's third big chicken brand, and they do a turnover of like 13,000 crores. And we advise them, we help them with the digital strategy part. And hope you would have taken a ride with Red Taxi. So they're killing the market. So they are really doing well in the market. And we work with them for the digital marketing part. And this is one startup which we work with. This is called Amote. And basically, it's a European style patisserie. First time in Coimbatore. And they're doing pretty well. We happen to be there for their third store launch. And they've really scaled their brand well. So we work with this brand called Twinbird. So Twinbird is a legging brand. I think they are pretty much like a monopoly in this particular category. And we work with them for their complete digital marketing part, ROI, performance marketing, and all that. So how it started? So engineering college there is something called symposium. So we started this with this symposium. So symposium, designs பண்ணனும், என்னெல்லாம் promotions என்னெல்லாம் பண்ணனும், marketing என்னெல்லாம் பண்ணனும். So அந்த மாதிரி தான் it all started. Then we slowly thought it has to be done in an organized way. Why can't we convert this into a business? And that is how it all started. So I'll hand over to Sriram for the next item in the agenda.
Hi. So when it comes to So when it comes to how it all started, like we three are actually classmates. Myself and Vinodh are benchmates. Actually, we used to talk about entrepreneurship every time. So every time we discuss on how to do a startup and how to achieve our goals than going to a job. So we were very passionate about starting that, but we didn't had right acceleration to get into the right way of doing a startup. So again we ended up going for a job. So we worked for a MNC company for 4 years. Vinodh was working into sales and myself are into design, the mechanical design basically. And then we wanted to take a break from that and pursue our passion. So the main point where we decided, no, like our jobs are getting too much of monotonous version. So we want to do something creative which is in our line. But the skill we learned, like this is the skill we learned, the design. So we know basically the design கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சம் we learned. So அதுல இருந்து நாங்க என்ன மாதிரி எடுத்துட்டு போனோங்கிறத we didn't have any idea. So then we started this uh, So then we founded Springboard on 2016. So we left our job. Then we started this. So mainly when we enter into a field, we need to master the craft. We cannot do with what we know. So we need to master the business. So we learned a lot with our friends and circles and the new clients which we received. So we wanted to do that in a way like we learn more things from them. So and then we found a gap in the market. Like everybody is going with the creativity, no one is taking care of strategy. So we wanted to address the strategy part with creativity. So that is the gap we address in the market, which we are differentiated from other conventional branding agencies. So we introduced creativity plus strategy into that spark, and then we started gaining trust from the customers. So and also we wanted to gain trust with the team we build, because we are very young company. We are just 3 people. So the first 2 or 3 people who are joining with us, they have to follow our vision. They have to believe in us. So what they have to do means we have to gain trust with them. So we decided on more cultural elements where we could add more people into our team. And obviously we worked with zero salary. So when we left our company, so we didn't have very big investment to do. So we wanted to take a bite in our salary. So we were working in minimum salaries like 2000 or 3000. We just take it for our petrol and basic food expenses. And then we started paying high for our team. Only then the company will grow. Or else if you take early salaries and all, like you can't grow a company. So you need to be more minimal in a way, like you have to grow the company. So then episode 3. So then it all grown up like from students to inventors. So we have introduced, I said no, like we found a gap like creativity plus strategy. With that we found a solution like visual brand positioning. So this is all about how we are communicating with a brand with one core visual to the companies. So we found that many companies found that very interesting, and then we started getting more projects with that ideology. So we were the inventors of this thing. So we started to win trust of the employees and also the clients. So and then they were actually very happy with our thing. And like when you get into entrepreneurship after engineering than going for an MBA or anything, this is like a real-time MBA. Even like IIT, IIM people are working with us. So they also said the same, that the knowledge you have, even we don't have that. So that is the main point I would convey. Like you can directly get into entrepreneurship than doing an MBA, and you can get it very easily the MBA knowledges. And then we are the team now. So this is actually a small glimpse of the team currently. So we are actually one of the top agencies in Coimbatore and Tamil Nadu. And we initially charged, like just for 500 rupees or something. That's the start. But now we charge around 5 lakhs per project, average on an average. So this is the growth we had in this 7 years. So like that, we are actually growing. We are aiming for pan-India projects. Now we are slowly getting all pan-India projects for us. So that is our main goal to work with. So this is our team currently. So then I'll share few things like the things we learned in this journey. So 3 or 4 points I have to share, and then I'll hand over to Vinodh to guide you further. So the first thing we learned is come out of your comfort zone and social conditioning. The social conditioning, நான் என்ன சொல்ல வரேன்னா, like after college you have to go to job, you have to earn something. இதுதான் social conditioning is taught us. So you need to come out of that. You need to come out of that comfort zone and start trying it, because in this early age, we can try, we can fail, and any which way we can go to work. You can go back to work, you can try for 3-4 years, and then if it is not working, you have always an option to go back to work. But you should try entrepreneurship. So you have to come out of the comfort zone, because when you get placed in a company, they might offer you a very big salaries that you won't get in a startup. But definitely this is a journey. When you go for 3 or 4 years consistently, definitely you will be taking more money than the employees who are working with the placement. And when you do a startup, no, we learn this. Don't focus on money. We never run behind money. We learn on how to give value to the projects we get, how to live, how to give more projects on with value. So value in the sense, I mean, no. So in a way, like if you can grow a company or a person to one state to efficient state, it is the value. Like it is not about money. If you can able to do a state with your business, no, that gives more value than getting money. And third important thing we learned, like don't seek for sudden growth. So when you enter into entrepreneurship, like what we felt, no, we can earn big money, like we can go in a very big lifestyle. It will happen in like a finger snap. But it never happened. Even after 7 years, we are just in a journey. We didn't have that bigger expectations done. But don't seek for sudden growth, because if you seek into that, you will soon fail, and then you'll go back to work again. So it is a journey you have to travel. In one point of time, you will get the money you wish to. And I'll just ask a question. Do you ask someone every time to take a decision, or any kind of decision, to go to choose a job, to choose a lifestyle? Do you ask your friends, families? How many of you people have will be asking to take a decision, or you take decisions on your own? You guys take decisions on your own? Nice. So when we take decisions, no, people, I'll just tell you an example. So imagine Dhoni needs an opinion on his cricket skills. Whom should he ask? What do you think? A well-wisher or a well-informed person? Well-informed. So yeah, because your family and friends may guide you to go to job, or may do things that they have done or they have seen so far. That is called social conditioning, I said. So people are well wishers. They want you to live safer. They want you to live happier. But the well-informed person, like they will guide you in a better way, that where you can go with, what motivation you can take with, and how you can grow your life and take it forward with your vision. So always we have to hear the well-informed person that you have to find in your line. You can always find them and follow them actually. And why you want to become an entrepreneur? Anybody has points for that? Why you want to become an entrepreneur? No. Okay. Control over. Nice. Nice. Success. Okay. So I thought many people will say money also one of the reason. Yes. But more than money, what we felt, no, time. You can own your time. The time is yours. Nobody can do that. And then freedom. The freedom of your decision, your lifestyle, your everything. So you can take your company your way to make it a grow a bigger way. And then it is asset for you. When you go for a job, so you will be getting paid for the days of the months you work. But when you start a company and you run, no, after 7 years, I have built an asset. So that asset can sell to any amount of the pay which I want. So the I am getting two things. I am getting paid for my work, and also I am building an asset. So these two things makes our entrepreneurship journey a better way. And then we have 7 steps to make your dream come true, that I'll hand over to Vinodh.
All right, thank you, Sriram. So is there an echo? Is there an echo with the mic or no? Mic is fine, right? Okay. All right, I think Sriram did a good job with the emotions part. So, how you have to prepare your mind for entrepreneurship is something that he taught all of us. So, I think it's now time for us to learn something that is, in a way, going to help us, that is going to upskill us for entrepreneurship. So, and that has 7 simple steps. So, once you get hold of the 7 simple steps, I think. It's going to be a smooth journey for all of you. So I'll start with the first step. Next. So idea. So how many of you sitting here are actually serious about entrepreneurship? So you came for the marks. Do you have marks for coming to the seminar or no? So how many of you here sitting here are actually passionately wanted to become an entrepreneur? Just raise hands. Nice. No women entrepreneurs? So I think they came for marks. All right. So how do we start a business? So it starts with an idea, right? So every business starts with an idea. So how do we get that idea? So Mark Zuckerberg had this idea of connecting the world beyond boundaries. So the founders of Google, Larry Page, wanted to organize informations on the internet world. So it is an idea. So the business that you encounter on a day-to-day basis is an idea. So how do you acquire this idea? So without idea, there is no business. How do you acquire this idea? Idea eppadi varum? You have any ideas? So when you say you want to become an entrepreneur, do you have an idea? Or is it just, you just wanted to become an entrepreneur and you're not towards that? So there are some simple techniques to develop an idea. So one is you should start observing people, people's behavior, people's problems. So you should develop this situational awareness. So if you speak to an army man, so he will always say that situational awareness is something that is taught to him when he becomes a soldier. So when you get into an army camp, you will see people saying Ram Ram, Jai Hind. So why do they say that when they see a senior officer? That is how you develop situational awareness. Like why do you say good morning to your professor? So you develop that situational awareness. And why is it important for a soldier? Because he has to be aware of a situation, and that is how they fight a war. So there has to be a situational awareness, and you should develop the situational awareness. Start observing your situation. Start observing the incidents of life. Start observing human problems. So next is understanding human behavior and psychology. Like how does a human mind think? Why does it desire? Why does it fear? So you just have to start observing the working mechanism of a human mind. So that is how you start developing an idea. So next is you should look at the limitations of a human mind. If you look at any business, it has always been about addressing the convenience of a mind. Why do you think we order our food in Swiggy or Zomato? So we are too tired and we are a little lazy to go and order a food and get ourselves dined in a restaurant. So that is a limitation of a human mind. So we are a little tired. Human mind is always lazy. So we are all a great suckers of convenience, right? So if you know this limitation of a human mind, and that is how you develop an idea. So next is understanding the concerns and pain points of human beings. So look at any successful business. It has all addressed the pain points of a customer. So it has all started with the pain points of a customer. So if you look at Zoom, you all know that they had their best time when COVID happened. So I think when COVID happened, we were not able to travel, which is a pain point. And then Zoom came in and addressed it. They were addressing earlier, but still it is a pain point. So if you are able to directly cater to the pain points of a human being, so that is when your idea begins. So these are a few frameworks on how you can develop an idea, because without idea, there is no entrepreneurship. Next. So we have, let us say, wild idea. So how do you validate an idea? ஸோ ஒரு ஐடியாவை எப்படி வேலிடேட் பண்றது, இது ஒர்க் ஆகுமா ஒர்க் ஆகாதா, ஸோ அது தெரியணும் இல்லையா, யூ ஷுட் நோ தட். ஸோ தட் ஒன்லி தென் யூ வில் பி ஏபிள் டு put in a small risk and then go pursue that idea. So how do you validate an idea? Next. So as I said earlier, any idea is about moving human being from an inefficient state to efficient state. So if you look at any business, it has always helped human population to move from an inefficient state to efficient state. So I've given an example here. So if you talk to your parents, they'll be saying that, you know, to book a Tatkal ticket or to book a train ticket, they travel all the way to a railway station, they stand in a queue, they fill a form, and then they book a ticket. That has been the practice earlier. And I think then IRCTC happened, which is a beautiful business idea. So now I just wanted you to give marks for these two states. So I think most of you would have done booking with IRCTC. So, and I believe you had also heard about stories of going to a railway station and booking a ticket. So I just wanted to give you a score on out of 10, how much would you give for option A, and out of 10, how much would you give it for option B? How much? Sorry? 6. Why 6? Okay, and option B? But 6 is the greatest score rate. You have to leave in your office and then go all the way to the railway station, stand in the queue, fill up a form, and then get the ticket. And even if you fill up a form, you're not sure whether you're going to get a ticket or not. So how much would you give for option A? 4. And for B? 8. So are you all with me on this? Next. So we gave a score of option A, we just gave 2 marks because it is a very inefficient way of booking a train ticket. And for option B, we gave 8. And most of the people we met said, you know, they are somewhere like 2 or 3 is the score they gave for option A. For option E, it was 8. So if you look at the difference, the deviation is greater than 4. So anything greater than 4 is a good business idea. So what you have to do, if you get an idea, you just have to go and talk to people, talk to your target audiences, talk to your customers, and see how much score do they give for their current state, and how much score are they going to give for the state that you're proposing, the idea that they propose. And if the difference is greater than 8, it's a good idea. Why? Next. It is very irreversible. So now we have IRCTC. Do we think of even going to a railway station to book tickets? No. So we will not reverse this behavior. It's done. Once you have gone to that state, there is no coming back to the old state. So it is done. So it is irreversible. Next, it is brag worthy. So you keep telling your friends that there is an efficient way of booking tickets. So that is called bragging about the benefits of the state that you have achieved. So it is brag worthy idea, and it also has a high tolerance limit. So even if the IRCTC website crashes, even if you don't get a ticket, even if you get a ticket but still you are in the waiting list, you have this tolerance because you like that state. You like the convenience of that state. So if the delta or if the difference is greater than 4, then it's a novel idea. So how you do this delta calculation? You go and talk to people, you know, as much of people as you can. Next. So I will take another situation. So let us say we go to a store to buy a shirt, and we have an e-commerce website. So how much score would you give for option A and option B? Option A is 5. And for option B? 7. 2. B3. So he says, what is your name? Sasikumar. Why do you give lower score for an e-commerce website? Very nice. So he says, nearla pona, we can do trial, and ma'am says, you can check for quality, you can touch and feel the shirt, you can see the actual color, and all of that. So option A is a better state, and option B is not that much of a better state. So let us see. So the people we met, they gave 4 for option A and 6 for option B. Sorry, I think it's reversed. 6 for option A and 4 for option B. So here the difference is, so here the difference is lesser than 4. So people are not feeling that good to do a purchase in e-commerce website. So the difference is less than 4. So they give a higher score for the current state and lower score for the ideal, like the idea, e-commerce idea state. So the difference is less than 4. So this idea is not going to work. So if it is not going to work, what do these e-commerce websites do? They give high offers. So when you have an idea that doesn't transform someone from an inefficient state to efficient state, then you have to play on offers. And that is what all e-commerce sites are doing with this. So if your delta is less than possible, people often fall to it. We have already fallen back to the of buying a shirt convenient. So people will not, unless or other offer going into the website. And it also has low tolerance. So once you see the shirt that is coming to you, that is not of the actual color that is shown on the website, you don't have tolerance. You will never ever make a purchase again with them. So if the delta is less than 4, the behavior becomes reversible. They fall back to the old state. It is not brag-worthy, and if it is not brag-worthy, your idea is not going to grow, and it is not going to bring you a lot of customers. And people will have low tolerance. So this is how you validate an idea. So once you have an idea, start talking to people whom you feel is going to be the customers of that idea. Tell them, I have an idea like this, just give me scores and see whether the delta is greater than 4. If it's greater than 4, I think it's an ideal business to work upon. So you have an idea, you have validated the idea, so what comes next? You have to develop your skill sets. How do you develop skill sets? So we have something like massive open online courses. It's called MOOC. I'm not sure how many of you have gone into these websites that has MOOC courses. It is an open online course. You don't have to pay anything for the course. Tomorrow you wanted to do a course on Python programming, you can do that. It's all available. So there is a website called W3 Schools which teaches you coding. So this MOOC is changing the world. So you can acquire any skill with these courses. And you can even get yourself mentored with a professor from Harvard who's running all these courses. So you don't have to travel all the way to US to get yourself trained for these courses. So MOOC is something that is changing the world. And we have like websites like Growth School, which teaches you marketing, performance marketing and all of that. You have Upgrad, which has beautiful courses. You have Udemy. So there are a lot of courses online. So once you have an idea, once you have validated an idea, now it's time for you to build a skill set. And for you to build skill set, I think there are a lot of courses out there. Like keep visiting those websites and start acquiring those skill sets. Then comes the investment part. So once you have a novel idea and once you have skill to actually nurture that idea, then comes the investment part. And as entrepreneurs, I can guarantee you that money is always the last problem to solve. So whenever we visit colleges, they tend to come and ask us, how I have an idea, how do I put money even to start a business? So once you have an idea, once you have a strong conviction about that idea, I think the money is definitely going to come to you. Today you have like seed funds from venture capitalists. You can even raise funds from your friends and family who believes in your idea. And you can even I think with accelerator programs, with mentorship programs, with venture capitalist firm, once you have a beautiful presentation and beautiful idea, money is definitely going to come to you. So once that is done, you will have to concentrate on branding and positioning. So what is branding and positioning? I'll just give you a small example. Because without this, your idea is not going to reach out to people. So let us say you're going for a dinner with your friends. If you're not one particular friend in about, I think work. So that is where branding and how are you going to simplify your idea? People are going to talk about it. For example, any successful business has a very simple way of communicating. Let's say Facebook, it's a social media where you connect with your friends. That's it. If you want to recommend it to someone, it's a very simple way of communicating. If you look at that complete business, they would have easily simplified it when it comes to the communication. So I'll give you a few examples like who has done well. So if you look at Amazon, in initial days, how do you recommend Amazon to someone? You will say it has large catalog collections. It has large collection of products. So you can get into the website, have a lot of price options and buy it from there. That is how you recommend Amazon to someone. When you meet someone over a dinner, that is how you recommend it. Look how simplified it is. They say it's a large catalog of collections, and that is the problem they solve. And if you look at Sleepy Owl, so it's a very good millennial coffee brand that's doing well on the online space. They say it's a real coffee for millennials. So millennials who have seen their fathers and grandfathers drinking filter coffee, who wants to break the routine, they go for this kind of coffee. This is more like your cafe coffee day coffees. So the idea is very simple and it is easily communicable. It's very contagious. So your idea has to be very light when it comes to the communication part. That is what branding and positioning is all about. If you look at Colgate, it stands for stronger teeth. That's it. It's a very simple positioning that they have tried to arrive. And I think if you look at close-up, the image is wrong. So if you look at close-up, it stands for fresh breath. So Colgate stands for stronger teeth and close-up stands for fresh breath. So look at the difference and the way they have communicated the difference. And if you look at Red Bull, it just emphasizes on energy. It's an energy drink. So it's a very simple way of communicating. So Tide, it is an effective cleaning detergent. And you have seen Rin ads, which is just about cleaning for the white cloths. The white, that is how they communicate in all their ads, right? So when it comes to branding and positioning, if you are able to own a small real estate space in the consumer mind, so that is what branding and positioning is all about. And all these brands have tried to own that space. So that comes next, once you have done with the investments, once you have validated the idea, so once you have acquired the skill set, I think this is a very important piece to crack. And this is where a lot of people come to us to do their branding, positioning and marketing. And comes the sales and marketing part. To be an entrepreneur, I think you have to be really good at sales, not just in convincing your customers, also convincing your team, also convincing your parents or your relatives. So what skill do you need to convince all of them? The sales skill, right? First, your parents have to believe in your idea. Only then they'll allow you to even go ahead with. So how do you convince your parent? That is the sales skill that you have to develop. So if you're not able to convince your parent who's been with you for about 25 years, how are you going to convince your customers? So your sales skill starts from there. So parents are your first customers, friends are your first customers. How are you going to convince them? So you have to acquire sales skill for that. And what imagery do you get when I talk about sales? What imagery do you get? And what is your memory of a salesman? நீங்க சேல்ஸ்மேனை எப்படி பார்த்திருக்கீங்க? சேல்ஸ்மேன் அப்படின்னு சொன்னோடனே உங்க மனசுக்கு என்ன வருது? மனசுல எந்த மாதிரியான இமேஜ் வருது? சொல்லுங்க. Wolf of Wall Street. 2K கிட்டனால இந்த டையெல்லாம் கட்டிட்டு வீட்டு முன்னாடி வந்து டோர் டு டோர் டிக்ஷனரி புக்ஸ் இந்த மாதிரியான தாட்ஸ் இல்லையா? ஸோ அதுதான் வந்து ஹாட் சேல்ஸ் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. சார் வாங்கிக்கோங்க, தயவு செஞ்சு வாங்கிக்கோங்க, டார்கெட்ஸ் முடிக்கணும், பக்கத்து வீட்டில் வாங்கியிருக்காங்க அப்படின்னு. that era is gone. So இப்போ நீங்க டோர் டு டோர் சேல்ஸ் பீப்புளே வந்து ரொம்ப கம்மி ஆயிட்டு வராங்க. Because we have all come to a stage that someone is doing a hard sell with me, I don't want the product, however good it is. So and the era is gone, and I think that era has become something like empathy focused sales. So if you look at salesmen who are doing really well, they are all good empathizers. They are able to connect with the customers. So that is something that you have to acquire. So consultative selling, you have to become a consultant for your customers. You have to become an advocate of them. So that is the era that is actually picking up. The hard sales era where you say good morning, where you try to impress them, tell them your shirt is good, and then do the hard sales, era is actually gone. Today, people only care about them and what problem is this salesman going to solve for me is something that they care about. So empathy focused selling is a sales skill that you have to develop if you're actually considering entrepreneurship. So next, I think this is the last step of this entire 7-step process. So once you have an idea, you have validated it, once you have acquired the skills, once you have done with the branding, positioning, marketing part, once you know sales, next is something that you have to become a leader. So if you're not inspiring someone, nobody is going to come to you. Like, how do you become an entrepreneur? You start building a team and the team starts working for you, right? That is the luxury of an entrepreneur. Where you are not going to work, your team members are going to work and then they're going to earn the income for you. So that is what entrepreneurship is all about. And if somebody has to work for you, you have to inspire them. So without inspiring someone, how do you ask them to come and take up a job with you? How do you inspire them? You becoming a leader. So you have to become that leader whom you wish to follow. So today, if you want to hire someone, they're very smart. They are actually looking to learn from you. They're not actually looking to earn from you. They're looking to learn from you. And you should have that kind of a knowledge to actually inspire them. So you have to be that leader whom they wish to follow. And this is a very important piece of entrepreneurship. If you are not going to inspire people, I can guarantee it's not going to work. So you have to become that inspiration. So I think this is the final step and this is the most important step that I wanted to convey over here. So we have completed the session. So we wanted to make it as short as possible and then open the podium for question and answers. So you can ask questions about design, UI, UX, entrepreneurship, whatever is burning within you, you can start asking questions and myself and Sriram would be more happy to answer all these questions. And I'm sorry the session has to be in English, but since we have some people who are not really good at understanding the Tamil, so we thought Tamil ragala pannum nenachom, but unfortunately it has to be in English. So question and answers, you can start asking. Any question is a good question. You don't have to really think in the question keta enna nenapanga appdila illa. Any question is a good question, and this question is actually going to enlighten a lot of people who also has similar questions. Questions illa?
ஆல்ரெடி எஸ்டாப்ளிஷ்டு ஃபீல்டில் வந்து ஆண்டர்பிரினர்ஷிப் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுறதுக்கு எனி ஸ்பெசிஃபிக் செட் ஆஃப் திங்ஸ் நம்ம பண்ணணுமான்ட்டு.
உங்க நேம் அக்ஷய். ஸோ அக்ஷய்க்கு ஒரு கிளாப் கொடுங்க. ஏன்னா திஸ் இஸ் a very very important question. ஸோ அவர் என்ன கேட்கிறாருன்னா, ஒரு கேட்டகரி ஆல்ரெடி எஸ்டாப்ளிஷ் ஆயிருச்சு, அங்க வந்து நான் வந்து பிளே பண்ணணும்னு நினைக்கிறேன், அதுக்கு ஏதாவது ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜி இருக்கா அப்படின்னு கேட்கிறாரு. வெரி வெரி இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் கொஸ்டின். ஏன்னா when a category is evolved, there is already someone who is doing well in that particular category. Now me entering that category, how am I going to do that? So அதான் அவர் கேட்கிற கொஸ்டின். ஸோ இப்போ நீங்க வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா, நான் க்ளோஸ் அப்னு ஒரு பிராண்டை காமிச்சேன். கோல்கேட் இஸ் அ மோனோபோலி இன் டூத் பேஸ்ட் செக்மெண்ட். ஸோ இன்னைக்கு வந்து சென்சடின்னு ஒரு பிராண்டை ரொம்ப ரீசெண்டா 4-5 இயர்ஸா கேள்விப்பட்டிருப்பீங்க. ஸோ நீங்க வந்து காம்படிட்டர் பிளே பண்ணாத ஏரியாவுக்கு வெளியே இருக்கிற ஒரு சில கேப்ஸ் ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்ண ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணும். ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள், கோல்கேட் வந்து டீத் தான் பேசிட்டு இருந்தாங்க, ஸ்ட்ராங்கர் கம் அப்படின்னு தான் பேசிட்டு இருந்தாங்க. பட் க்ளோஸ் அப் வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா they spoke about fresh air, சுவாச புத்துணர்ச்சி, அதான் அவங்களோட ஆட். ஏன் அப்படின்னா இங்க நிறைய பேருக்கு வந்து நிறைய யங் பீப்புளுக்கு வந்து they want that அந்த ஃப்ரெஷ் ஏர், அந்த பிரீத் ஃப்ரெஷ்னஸ் வந்து தேவைப்பட்டுச்சு. அண்ட் கோல்கேட் வாஸ் இன் அ வே நாட் அட்ரஸிங் தோஸ் கன்சர்ன்ஸ் ஆஃப் தட் பர்டிகுலர் பீப்புள். ஸோ ஒரு மோனோபோலி, ஒரு பெரிய காம்படிட்டர் அட்ரஸ் பண்ணாத ஒரு மார்க்கெட்டை இஃப் யூ ஆர் ஏபிள் டு அட்ரஸ், ஸோ தட் இஸ் வென் யுவர் சக்சஸ் பிகின்ஸ். ஸோ சென்சரிங், பல்கூச்சம், ஸோ அதான் அவங்களுடைய ஃபார் த சென்சிட்டிவ் டீத். ஸோ தட் இஸ் அ மார்க்கெட் தட் இஸ் untouched by Colgate or Close-Up. So they came into that market and started captivating. So if the category is already established, already strong player இருக்காங்கன்னா டெஃபினட்டா அவங்க ஏதோ ஒரு கேப்பை விட்டுருப்பாங்க. And if you are able to identify that gap, that is where your pot of gold lies in. Next question. ஆண்டர்பிரினர் கொஞ்சம் பேர் கை தூக்குனீங்க, கொஸ்டின்ஸ் இல்லையா?
As an initial entrepreneur, what are the legal steps that the particular person should follow for registering their ideas as a startup?
So, it's a clap பண்ணிருங்க. இப்ப லீகல் எடுத்துக்கிட்டீங்கன்னா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வந்து யூ ஹேவ் டு ரெஜிஸ்டர் த கம்பெனி. உங்களுக்கு தெரியும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். யூ சம்திங் கால் ஜிஎஸ்டி நம்பர், பேன் நம்பர். ஸோ அதான் வந்து ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஸ்டெப்பு. அண்ட் தென் இஃப் யூ ஹேவ் அ நாவல் ஐடியா, அது வேற யாரும் காப்பி பண்ணக்கூடாது அப்படின்னா இன்டெலெக்சுவல் ப்ராப்பர்ட்டி ரைட்ஸ் ஒன்று. ஸோ யூ ஹேவ் டு ட்ரேட்மார்க் அட்டர்னி, அப்புறம் வந்து கம்பைல் அண்ட் கம்பெனி செக்ரட்டரி, இந்த மாதிரியான ஒரு சில ப்ரொஃபஷன்ஸ் இருக்காங்க. அண்ட் ஐ திங்க் இந்தியா ஃபைலிங்ஸ்னு ஒரு வெப்சைட் இருக்கு, வேர் யூ கேன் ஹையர் ஆல் தீஸ் பீப்புள் அட் அ த்ரோவே காஸ்ட். ஸோ இது இவங்களை ஹையர் பண்ணி யூ கேன் ஆக்சுவலி டூ அன் இன்டெலெக்சுவல் ப்ராப்பர்ட்டி ரைட்ஸ் ஆன் யர் ஐடியா. ஸோ அதுதான் வந்து ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஸ்டெப் டு ப்ரொடெக்ட் யுவர் ஐடியா. And even if it is protected, I think small variations பண்ணி நிறைய பேர் வந்து they start replicating the same idea. So இது வந்து I would say the sooner you enter the market, the sooner you get customers, the sooner your idea will be protected. So IP protected அதெல்லாமே வந்து பேப்பர்ல yes it's all fine, but still you are vulnerable. You know, somebody can still copy your idea, do a small twist and then start a business on their own. So if you have a novel idea, of course the protection has to be there, like intellectual property protection, but how sooner are you going to push that idea to people so that people only remember you? Even if somebody copies it, it is seen as a copy. So that is something that you have to deal with. And இதுதான் legal, and you definitely need an auditor, like who files for your GST, who files your returns and all of that. Very simple legal steps now, and it's not that complicated to start a business in India. Oh.
நீங்க எடுத்த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ப்ராஜெக்ட், அதை எப்படி அப்ரோச் பண்ணி அந்த ப்ராஜெக்ட் நீங்க வாங்குனீங்க ஃபர்ஸ்ட்?
நைஸ் கொஸ்டின்ங்க. ஸோ இப்போ அவர் என்ன கேட்குறாருன்னா, ஸ்டார்ட் பண்றப்போ வந்து எந்த போர்ட்ஃபோலியோவுமே இருக்காது. ஸோ ஐ திங்க் நீங்க எப்படி ஒரு ப்ராஜெக்ட் எடுத்தீங்க அப்படிங்கிறது தான். ஸோ இப்போ இது நாங்க வந்து ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் அண்ட் ஃபேமிலிஸ் கிட்ட பேசி ப்ராஜெக்ட் எடுத்தோம். பட் ரொம்ப ஈஸியான வழி என்னன்னா, மார்க் டிசைன்ஸ், மார்க் ப்ராஜெக்ட்ஸ் வந்து நீங்க பண்ண ஆரம்பிக்கலாம். ஏன்னா எங்க ஃபீல்ட கன்சர்ன் பண்ணி சொல்றேன். யூ கேன் டூ அ லோகோ ஃபார் அ பிராண்ட், ஃபார் அ மசாலா பிராண்ட். இப்போ நீங்க பிஹான்ஸ்ல வந்து நிறைய டிசைனர்ஸ் பாத்தீங்கன்னா மார்க் ப்ராஜெக்ட்ஸ் நிறைய பண்ணி வச்சிருப்பாங்க. ஸோ தட் இஸ் யுவர் வே ஆஃப் ஷோயிங் தட் யூ ஆர் கேப்பபிள் ஆஃப் டூயிங் அ ப்ராஜெக்ட் லைக் திஸ். ஸோ உங்களால வந்து ஒரு மார்க் போர்ட்ஃபோலியோ ஒன்று கிரியேட் பண்ண முடிஞ்சா தட்ஸ் அ குட் ஸ்டார்டிங் பாயிண்ட். அந்த மார்க் போர்ட்ஃபோலியோ வச்சு யூ கேன் ஸ்டார்ட் கன்வின்சிங் கஸ்டமர்ஸ். ஸோ அது ரியல் ப்ராஜெக்டா இருக்கணும்னு அவசியம் இல்லை, ஸ்மால் ப்ரூஃப் ஆஃப் கான்செப்ட் அது இருந்தாலே போதும். ஐ திங்க் தட் இஸ் வேர். அண்ட் தேர் ஆர் ஆல்வேஸ் பீப்புள் ஹூ ஆர் ஆக்சுவலி லுக்கிங் ஃபார் பீப்புள் who are just starting up. ஏன்னா பிரைஸ் காம்பிடென்ட்டா இருக்கும் இந்த மாதிரியான ஆட்கள் கிட்ட. ஐ திங்க் அதுதான் இட்ஸ் a good starting point, மார்க் ப்ராஜெக்ட் ஆர் a proof of concept.
இப்போ நீங்க பண்ற இதுலயுமே ஒரு மார்க்கெட் லீடர்னு இருப்பாங்க. ஸோ அவங்களோட இதுல இருந்து நீங்க எப்படி டிஃபர் ஆகுறீங்க? உங்க இது நோவாலிட்டி அப்படின்னு நீங்க என்ன நினைக்கிறீங்க?
That's a nice question. இப்போ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் 2 to 3 years is all about figuring out தான். ஏன்னா என்ன பண்றோம், நம்மளோட கஸ்டமர்ஸ் யாரு அப்படிங்கிறது தான் மோஸ்ட்லி ஃபிகர் அவுட் பண்ணிட்டு இருந்தோம். ஸோ இப்போ வந்து இந்த டிஃபரன்சியேஷன் நம்ம மார்க்கெட் லீடர் கிட்ட இருந்து நம்மளை டிஃபரன்ஷியேட் பண்ணிக்கிறதுக்கு ஒரு சில ஃப்ரேம் ஒர்க்ஸ் இருக்கு. இப்போ நாங்க எடுத்துக்கிட்ட ஃப்ரேம் ஒர்க் என்னன்னு பாத்தீங்கன்னா ஸ்பெஷலைசேஷன். ஸோ எங்களுடைய நாங்க வந்து we are very focused on FMCG companies. ஸோ இப்போ எங்களுடைய வீடியோ பார்த்தீங்கன்னாலே தெரியும், நிறைய FMCG ப்ராடக்ட்ஸ்க்கு தான் வந்து நாங்க நிறைய பிராண்டிங் அண்ட் மார்க்கெட்டிங் பண்ணியிருப்போம். இப்போ எங்களோட மார்க்கெட் லீடர் இருக்காரு எடுத்துக்கிட்டீங்கன்னா, அவர் நிறைய பிராண்ட்ஸுக்கு பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காரு. வேரிட் டொமைன்ஸ்ல வந்து அவரோட ஃபுட் பிரிண்ட் வச்சிருக்காரு. இப்போ நான் அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு மார்க்கெட் லீடர் கிட்ட அந்த இருக்கிற இடத்துல நான் போய் ஐ எம் வெரி ஸ்பெஷலைஸ்ட் இன் பர்டிகுலர் கேட்டகரின்னு சொல்றப்போ ஐ கெட் ஆல் தி அட்டென்ஷன். ஸோ இன் அ வே இஃப் யூ ஆர் ஏபிள் டு ரிலேட் வித் தட் மார்க்கெட் லீடர் அண்ட் சே ஐ எம் டிஃப்ரெண்ட். So I am also doing branding and marketing similarly like a market leader, but I am specialized in a particular domain. So that is how you differentiate. So specialization வந்து differentiation இருக்கலாம், இல்லாட்டி புதுசா ஒரு விஷயத்தை கொண்டு வந்து அதை அந்த கேட்டகரியில ஃபிட் இன் பண்றீங்க. We have something called visual brand positioning சொல்லி ஒன்று கொண்டு வந்திருக்கோம், which is இப்போ நான் சொன்ன மாதிரி தான் ஒரு சிம்பிள் ஐடியா அதை வந்து ஒரு இமேஜாரியா மாத்தி அதை எப்படி மக்களுக்கு புரிய வைக்க முடியும். So that is something we are actually protecting it. அந்த ஒரு particular statement protect பண்ண போறோம். So this is how we relate with the competitor and we differentiate.
சார், இப்போ நான் என்னோட ஐடியாஸ் அண்ட் என்னோட ஸ்கில் செட்ல கான்ஃபிடென்ட்டா இருக்கேன். ஸோ நான் என்னோட சொந்த இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட் போடுறதே பெட்டரா இல்லை ஏஞ்சல் இன்வெஸ்டர்ஸ் அவங்க கிட்ட போய் இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட் கேட்கறது பெட்டரா சார்?
ஆல்ரைட், இப்போ உங்களுடைய இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட் போட்டு யூ கேன் நீங்க வந்து ஒரு ப்ரூஃப் ஆஃப் கான்செப்ட் வந்து ரெடி பண்ண முடியுங்கிற மாதிரி இருக்கு. ஸோ ப்ரூஃப் ஆஃப் கான்செப்ட்னா டெஸ்டிங் அ ப்ராடக்ட் வித் தி ஃபர்ஸ்ட் 100-500 கஸ்டமர்ஸ். ஸோ ஒன்ஸ் உங்களோட ப்ரூஃப் ஆஃப் கான்செப்ட் ஒர்க் ஆகுதுன்னா அடுத்தது வந்து ஸ்கேலிங். ஸோ ஸ்கேலிங் அப்படிங்கிறப்போ உங்களால அவ்வளோ பட்ஜெட் பம்ப் இன் பண்ண முடியுமா அப்படிங்கிறது தெரியாது. அண்ட் இப்போ வென்ச்சர் கேபிட்டலிஸ்ட்னா இப்போ நிறைய பேருக்கு என்ன ஒப்பீனியன்னா தே திங்க் பணம் கொடுக்குற ஆள் மட்டும்தான் அப்படின்னு நினைக்கிறாங்க. அது கிடையாது. ஸோ venture capitalist comes with a lot of expertise. ஸோ உங்க பிசினஸ் எப்படி க்ரோ பண்றது அந்த மாதிரியான விஷன் வந்து அவரால் கொடுக்க முடியும். ஸோ ஒரு இன்வெஸ்டர் வென்ச்சர் கேபிட்டலிஸ்ட் ஜஸ்ட் ஒரு பணம் கொடுக்குற ஒரு ஆளா இல்லாம அவருடைய ஸ்கில் அவருடைய எக்ஸ்பர்டீஸை யூஸ் பண்ணிக்க முடியுமா அப்படிங்கன்னு பாக்குறப்போ டெஃபினட்டா ஐ திங்க் யூ ஹேவ் டு சூஸ் தட் ஆப்ஷன் பிகாஸ் ஹி கம்ஸ் வித் a lot of experience. He knows where you're going to fail. உங்களை ஃபெயில் பண்ணாம பாத்துக்கிறது வந்து ஐ திங்க் he'll be able to do that. So and that is why even if people who are rich go to a VC firm because VC is going to handhold them, guide them, mentor them. So it is always good to go with a VC firm once the proof of concept is done. Yeah, please.
இப்போ அந்த கவர்மெண்ட் ஸ்கீம் வந்துட்டு இருக்குல்லங்க சார், இப்போ நம்ம ரெஜிஸ்டர் பண்ணிட்டு as a degree holderனா they are giving, I think for boy childனா they are giving 15% relaxation and for girl childனா they are giving more than 15%. I think maybe 20 or 25%. Can you explain that scheme about that, sir? They are applying for loan, they can get they are applying for, they are a degree holder and they can get.
Oh.
Oh, it is a news to me. Even I am not aware of it. But there is something called Startup India அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு நிறைய பேர் கேள்விப்பட்டிருப்பீங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். So once your idea gets approved with Startup India, I think there is a relaxation with the loan. I'm not sure how much percentage. Correct. So அந்த மாதிரியான ஒரு சப்சிடைஸ்ட் ரிலாக்ஸேஷன் இருக்கு. அண்ட் இட் ஆல்சோ டிபெண்ட்ஸ் ஆன் கைண்ட் ஆஃப் பிசினஸ் தட் யூ ஆர் கோயிங் டு டீல் வித். ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் ஃபுட் அப்படின்னா ஃபுட்டுக்கு லெட்ஸ் சே ஒரு ப்ராசஸிங் பிளான் 5 crores வந்து நான் இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்றேன்னா there is some subsidy like 10-20% subsidy on that particular 5 crores. இன்னொன்னு என்னன்னா when you get registered for Startup India 5 years வந்து you get a tax holiday. So income tax வந்து 30-33% வந்து நீங்க சம்பாதிக்கிறதுல இன்கம் டாக்ஸா கட்ட வேண்டியதா இருக்கும். பட் இஃப் யுவர் ஐடியா கெட்ஸ் அப்ரூவ்ட் வித் ஸ்டார்ட் அப் இந்தியா there is a tax holiday 5 years வந்து உங்களுக்கு இன்கம் டாக்ஸே கிடையாது. ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு நாவல் ஐடியாவுக்கு வந்து இந்த மாதிரியான ஒரு விஷயம் இருக்கு. அண்ட் ஆல்சோ லோன்ஸ்லயுமே நிறைய ரிலாக்ஸேஷன்ஸ் இருக்கு அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி இருக்கு. ஸோ தட் இஸ் சம்திங் தட் ஐ நோ. தேங்க்யூ. வேற கொஸ்டின்ஸ்? எஸ்.
Like before starting this journey, like getting your first project, for everyone it will be the toughest part for getting the first project. How did you approach to the company for defining your ideas and some new creativity? What was your journey? How did you have differentiated the animation team and the ideal team? What was your experience while getting your first project?
So we were actually doing a lot of freelancing. So we were doing small projects, which is like ஒரு லோகோ பண்றது, ஒரு சின்ன ப்ராஷர் பண்றது, அந்த மாதிரி we were doing very small little projects when we were doing freelancing. And when we ventured into a full-time entrepreneurship, I think we cracked an FMCG product called Yummy Mum அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு. It's a baby food product FMCG brand. And how we convince them is we give them ideas. So let's say we don't have a good portfolio to convince them, but what we give them is we tell them how we can do. So how we can actually, when we work on the project, what is going to be our approach? How is the output going to look like? So we actually give them, show them the value before even delivering it. So I think in a way, if you are able to show them that good value before even delivering it, that is where you convince that customer. So it's like, for you know Tamil, English. So let's say a lot of directors who go and pitch their script to the producers, right? And you know how they do? They say this portion will impress the family audience, and if the family audience comes in, this is going to be a revenue. And if I convince this hero to act in this movie, he has a fan base of say 1 crore, 1.5 crore, and your revenue is going to be like this. So when a director goes and pitches a script to a producer, he also works on a lot of economics. So that is how you show them the value before even delivering it. So if you're able to convince them for that value before even delivering it, so that is how you get the first project or the first breakthrough. So it's plainly about communication, because you don't have anything to show to them. So it's clearly based on the communication. So, and if your communication is genuine and if you're confident about giving them the value, definitely your customer will also feel that. So one, you have to be very confident about giving that value, and you should have that kind of a clarity of giving that value. So if you have both these things, your customer is also going to get that spark from you. So then I think the things progresses. So that is how your first breakthrough happens. Yes.
What kind of technology do you handle? What kind?
Your good name? Rupa. First question from the woman. Like, give claps. I think she's asking what tools or what technology do you use for designing. I think Sriram will be able to answer it. We use Figma for UI UX. So there is a tool called Figma to do UI UX. And for packaging, we use Illustrator. We use Adobe Illustrator. So I think Adobe has a lot of good softwares for the design. And I think in UI UX space, Figma is killing it. You know, they really has a collaborative space where a lot of people can come in, do a lot of collaboration. Collaborative design is something that they've cracked. So these are few basic technologies that we use for the design part. So Adobe and Figma. Any question?
சார் உங்க கூட சேர்ந்து ஒர்க் பண்றதுக்கு என்னென்ன ஸ்கில் செட்ஸா இருக்கணும்? இன்டர்ன்ஷிப் மாதிரி.
ஸோ இன்டர்ன்ஷிப்புக்கு வந்து என்ன பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னு கேட்டிருந்தாரு. ஸோ ஐ திங்க் வி ஆர் ஆக்சுவலி லுக்கிங் ஃபார் சம் ஜூனியர்ஸ் யூனோ இன் த பிராண்டிங் அண்ட் design part, and I'm not sure about UX. So என்ன ஸ்கில் இருக்கணும்னா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வந்து டூல் நாலேஜ் இருக்கணும். You do you really know to work on Figma? Do you really know to work on Illustrator? So that is something which is very basic. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டூல் நாலேஜ் இருக்கணும். அண்ட் தென் யூ ஷுட் ஆல்சோ ஹாவ் அ, இப்போ நான் சொன்ன மாதிரி ஒரு மார்க் போர்ட்ஃபோலியோ ஏதாவது அந்த சைட்ல வந்து கொஞ்சம் பண்ணி, if you are able to impress Sriram, like who's the creative director of this, and you really have to pitch it to him and show that you know how competent you are in doing it. And இந்த மாதிரி தான் ஒன்னு வந்து டூல் நாலேஜ், செகண்ட் இஸ் தி டிசைன் சென்ஸ். ஸோ டிசைன் சென்ஸ் இஸ் நத்திங் பட் காமன் சென்ஸ் தான். what problem you're solving through your design, how you're solving it, and why you're solving it. இந்த ஒரு சென்ஸ் இருந்தா I think we'll be able to associate. So I think we'll be putting our email IDs and phone numbers. So once you have something ready, keep sending it to us. So we'll be in touch. Any questions? Any more questions? எல்லாரும் கேட்குற கேள்வி இருக்கு, அது நீங்க கேட்கல ஏன்னு தெரியல. ஐ திங்க் சார் பிசினஸ் ஆரம்பிச்சு ஃபெயில் ஆனா என்ன சார் பண்றது அப்படின்னு கேட்பாங்க நிறைய பேர். சார் காசெல்லாம் போயிடுச்சு, லாஸ் ஆயிடுச்சுன்னா என்ன சார் பண்றது அப்படின்னு கேட்பாங்க நிறைய பேர். சர்ப்ரைசிங்லி யாரும் கேட்கல கொஸ்டின். என்னங்க நம்பிக்கை இருக்கா? வெரி குட், தட்ஸ் தி ஸ்பிரிட். ஸோ உங்களால வந்து ஒன்று வந்து கால்குலேட்டட் ரிஸ்க் அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு டேர்ம் இருக்கு இங்கிலீஷ்ல. ஸோ ரொம்ப பெரிய ரிஸ்க் எடுக்காம, இப்போ ஏன்னா யூ நெவர் நோ what's going to happen because you are entering a new arena. So if you are taking that calculated risk where you invest the money that you can afford to lose. So இப்போ நிறைய பேர் வந்து நிறைய அவங்க கிட்ட இருக்கிற பேசிக் திங்ஸையுமே பிசினஸ்குள்ள போட்டுருவாங்க. ஸோ அப்படி இல்லாம if you are able to invest that money that you can always lose, so that is called a calculated risk. So start taking the calculated risk, number one. And if you're starting a service business, I think you'll be able to make money from day one. But if you're starting a product business, you'll not be able to make money from day one. That is when you start investing money to build the product. And then you start making revenue. So you'll have to take that calculated risk. So what is going to be that safe calculation is up to you. Money that you can afford to lose is something that you have to invest. And once you start, earning revenue, you keep reinvesting the earning into the business. So it's not, you're not getting anything from the outside. You start reinvesting whatever you earn from the business. So that is how you take that calculated risk. So இப்போ எத்தனை பேர் UI UX எல்லாம், I think I heard it from your professor that you are interested in UI UX designs. அந்த மாதிரி யாராவது இருக்கீங்களா? லாஸ்ட் 3 பேர். ஓ வெரி நைஸ். நைஸ். ஸோ ஏன் அந்த டொமைனை சூஸ் பண்ணணும்னு நினைச்சீங்க? வாட் ரியலி இம்ப்ரெஸ்ட் யூ? சாரி, வாட் ரியலி இம்ப்ரெஸ்ட் யூ டு ரியலி கெட் இன் டு திஸ் UI UX?
Actually, it's my hobby to do some kinds of graphite sketching and all stuff. Like I can directly draw some portraits of an human being. So as I used to do like some kind of sketches, then I have entered into the field known as animating. So animating in the sense like preparing all the human portraits into one digital one. It gave us such kind of speed that we can do something more in this. So we have started making some shots within the animation. So after that, we got idea about animation and all this stuff. But this animation stuff has to go somewhere to present this in our outsources. So we have entered into a Figma. So there we came to know how these websites and pages works one after one. How the first page is linked with another page. So just we after knowing all this stuff, we have connected to these all UI UX design, animations, and sketching. So this has took us to into this field.
Very nice. Claps for him. So I think this design space is really going to pick up because earlier we didn't have a software. Like now we have softwares. I think a lot of business happens through softwares. Now we have come to a point where we want simplified data analytics, like simplified decision making. So that is where design is going to play a major role. So earlier we had giant softwares like SAP, which does a lot of work, but we were not able to really get good data from those softwares. So I think we are entering into a place where now we know how to run an organization through a software, but how are we going to interact with the software and how are we going to really take a lot of data from the software? How are we going to make key decisions from that software? Is something that is evolving at this landscape. And I think this cannot be done without the support of a design. So UIX is something very promising with AI coming in, machine learning coming in, ChatGPT coming in. Interaction with the machine and the human is going to get simplified, and designers are going to simplify it for the world. So it's a very promising world to enter. And if you're passionate about it, nothing like that. So it's a very promising field is something that I would say. And when you said animations, portrait, it is all from an art. So I think art joining hands with strategy or human understanding or human psychology, consumer psychology is the UI UX part. So art and the human mind, understanding of human mind coming together is going to be the user interaction, user experience part. So I think I know you're good at art. So if you're also able to understand how humans interact, like how do they interact with the machine, like how do I interact with this, what is the kind of arrangement that is put up here. If you are able to really look at the design scheme of things, like how do architects design a college, like how do architects, so if you are able to understand all of that, I think that is where the designer in you becomes that user interface and user experience design. So we'll close. Any more questions? That's it, right? Thank you so much. And one second. So this is our contact. So we are there in Instagram. We are there in LinkedIn. So Sriram is also there in Instagram and LinkedIn. So my LinkedIn profile is Vinodh Parameswaran, which is VINODH PARAMESWARN, and my Instagram is Vinodh VKP. So you can also follow our page, which is Springboard Digital, Springboard LLP, and you can follow us for all the updates. So anything like you can hit up with us on Instagram. You can send us a hi. You can send us a portfolio, or if you want support from us, you can ping us. We are always there to talk to you within 24 hours. So this is something that we wish to close. So if we can do it, you can also do it. I think I have met the most sensible batch, like who are actually engrossed in the presentation, and all your questions were really interesting. And questions about competition, questions about how do I differentiate myself from a category. These are all very mature questions. Like when he asked about how do you get the first project when you don't have a portfolio. These are all mature questions. And I think with this level of maturity at the college level, you are going to really play a bigger game in the entrepreneurship field. So I would say we didn't have this maturity when we were sitting there. So if we can do it, you can also do it. You can do it much greater than us. So that is something that I wish to conclude. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye. Thank
Thank you for enriching us with your knowledge, sirs. Now it's my privilege to present you to the vote of thanks. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to extend my gratitude to Mr. Sriram and Mr. Vinodh Parameswaran for gracing us with their presence today. The session was really insightful, and we wish you all the success on the future endeavors. Thank you, sirs. Now let us all rise up for the national anthem.
जय 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 जय